Yeah, you could hear it.
Yep.
Clear as well. All right, next one. John's mom's dead. What's that?
Same place. This was at the same house during another night, and once again, the child would play with the telephone. And the weird thing is in different cases, and of course, we didn't supply all of them because they're in the show, and we didn't want to let all of the cat out of the bag. But a lot of these, the voice would respond in their voice, mocking them, a lot of times even before they spoke. So you would hear it mock what they said, and then they would say it. So this was a bizarre case. It's one of those that really gets your attention, and it tests all of your skills and all of your beliefs.
Okay, here we go. Here. Yeah, we'll play one more time for you. Yeah, another very clear one. What kind of equipment were you using for this?
Primarily, we use the digital audio recorders. My favorite are the Olympus. Of course, we have Panasonic and Sony as well, but I like the Olympus because of its portability, its size, and because it will actually plug to the computer with a USB cable instead of having to run a patch and then recording it that way. It's amazing how inexpensive they are now as opposed to 15 years ago. You know, back then, before they had all these miniature recorders, you walked in with big cassettes or, in some cases, reel-to-reel. So it's very revolutionized this end of paranormal investigation.
The children voices on the EVPs, those chill me.
Oh, yeah. And the thing I try to tell people is depending on the situation, just because it sounds like a child doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're dealing with.
Well, that's a good point.
There are a lot of times, especially when you're dealing with something malevolent, and especially when it involves a child, it's going to make itself known to this child in a way that gets the child's attention. They feel relatively safe, and then things start to pick up and get worse. There was another case we worked several years ago that involved a teenage boy, 13 or 14, in Atlanta, and there was some really bad activity going on there. And we asked the family when we were coming out to take him somewhere else. We did not want him to see us. And as soon as he walked in the door 2 hours after we'd been there, you know, he stopped in the doorway and looked at us and said, "He's going to make my friend go away." So, you know, you try to look at all of this stuff, and, you know, it's like putting a puzzle together piece by piece.
Mickey's mom's dead. Tell me about this one.
Same place, the same house.
Oh, this place was loaded.
Absolutely. And, you know, like I said, these are some of the best Class A's that we've ever recorded.
Here we go. One more time. Why do most of them have that evil sound to it? You know, like, Mickey's mom's dead. I mean, why can't they say, Mickey's mom's dead?
Well, I think because in this aspect it is something potentially evil, and once it begins to manifest after a while, it's not going to go with the pretense of being something fun and safe. After a while, it's going to start letting you know more and more and more. You know, we've gotten spirit recordings that I believe were human spirits sometimes that are angry and will curse at you, but the inflection in their voice, the tone, you know, the whole sentence, what was, you know, the other people were talking about is completely different. Now, you can hear the little girl talking at the beginning of this one. And, you know, she was such a small and sweet child. That's what really bothered us the most. These are the kind that you just can't turn your back on until you're through with them.
Okay, now this last one we're going to play is a scary one. Must Drown Her Now. Tell me about this one.
There again, it's the same location.
Oh, my gosh.
This
is a gold mine of EVPs.
Exactly, and the answering machine was so full of recordings, and because of the nature of them, we more or less confiscated it, and I have it locked up and, with a couple of holy relics on it to, hopefully ensure that nothing's going to fire up here. But this one location, just the whole tone and atmosphere of this particular spirit, I had no doubt, after about an hour of being there, that we were dealing with something malevolent and demonic.
Okay, here we go. Harder to hear. Much harder to hear.
That one was a little more difficult to work, but, you can tell, the voices, each one of them sound remarkably the same. This was one of those cases that after being there for a while, and especially when we started reviewing the evidence, the hair on my arms were just literally standing up on end. It'll give you the willies.
Let's play that one more time, Dan, if we can. Okay, there we have it. I don't know if I'd want to be in that area. This one was scary.
Well, I had somebody ask me a few years ago if I knew then what I know now, would I have ever started working the diabolical cases? And without even a pause, I said, if I knew then what I know now, I would have never gotten into it. Once you cross that invisible line, they know who you are. It's not like if I can just quit today and feel that I'm 100% safe. The scary thing, George, is that a lot of the ghost groups now believe that for them to be considered legitimate, they must move up to the next level, and they want to start investigating these type cases. And, I have the emails every month. Somebody will contact me and said they believe that they have a calling to, work in demonology. And my comparison is, the first question I asked them is if you had a next-door neighbor that had a vicious pit bull that didn't like you, would you jump over the fence and try to play with it? And, of course, they say no. And I said, well, there's really not a lot of difference here. I said, except that these type of spirits will oftentimes go after your loved ones, your family, your children, people you care about. So it's not just them being in danger, it's, the collateral damage that goes with it.
Well, that is so true, so true. What's your website?
Our website is www.georgiaghostsociety.com. You spell it completely out. Our website, we've been revamping our website over the last 6 months. And that's another thing about being a nonprofit group. We have to do it all ourselves. The money comes out of our pocket. So a lot of times we'll have to have them fix up one spot, add add some new stuff, and then the other has to wait for a while. But our website is a little different from a lot of other ghost groups. We don't put recordings, video, or photographs on it. It's not there for anyone's amusement or entertainment. Our website is primarily an information source to let people know who we are, what we do, and how we can help.
That's kind of refreshing. Okay, well, let's open up the phone lines. Questions for Robert before we get into stories, your stories of ghosts. Questions next hour.